If you're wondering what happens with the woman's hormones after hysterectomy, or you had a hysterectomy or considering one, and you're thinking, well, do I need hormones after it? This video is for you. Welcome back, everyone, and happy summer. My name is Eric Schmidt. I'm a board-certified OBGYN, minimally invasive gynecologic surgeon. We're talking about how the hormones fluctuate after a hysterectomy, whether or not somebody's had their ovaries removed or not, and are you eligible for treatment with hormone therapy? Again, with ovaries or not. We got you covered in this. We discussed this in other videos, but even if someone keeps their ovaries and they have a hysterectomy, which is the most common way that we should be doing it now, their hormones, the fluctuation in hormones can still be affected. A lot of women, maybe up to 50% who have a hysterectomy, go through menopause sooner because of this. All right, quick review. If you haven't seen the prior videos about hysterectomy, go watch those so you're familiar with some of the terms I'll use, because the word total hysterectomy means removal of the uterus, which includes the cervix. That terminology does not include the ovaries. But someone can, at the time of their hysterectomy, have their ovaries removed, and there's a potential pros and cons of this. We talked about it recently in one of our other videos. But even if somebody keeps their ovaries, their hormone production can decrease with their hysterectomy, leading them to potentially increased risks of perimenopause and menopause. And there are a number of ways that we can detect some of these changes. Number one, mainly through symptoms. So after the hysterectomy, somebody is having more hot flashes, more mood swings. And we're not talking within the first couple of weeks after the hysterectomy. I mean, usually the months and beyond. Someone's having these symptoms. Sleep disruptions, vaginal, vulva changes, irritation, pain with sex, brain fog. If you're having these symptoms, please tell your doctor, because you may want to consider still hormone therapy. I think the old way was saying that removing the uterus, keeping the ovaries, well, your hormones will stay the same. Now, that's not exactly true, because of a lot of emerging research is saying that actually, because we have to go through the uterovarian ligament to do the hysterectomy and keep the ovaries, this affects the blood flow to the ovaries to some degree. And so that also affects the hormone production. And so this is just rough estimates, but if the ovaries were operating at somewhere around 100% before, they'll definitely be decreased 80, 90% after hysterectomy, even with keeping the ovaries. Those are rough numbers, but just to give or help illustrate the point. How does this manifest as far as symptoms go? Now, somebody, if they have, their hysterectomy, let's say they're 45 years old, they were meant to go through menopause at an age 52. Well, instead, they might start get some of their symptoms and menopause transition happening closer 1.5 to 4 years earlier. Okay, so if someone has a hysterectomy, keeps their ovaries, they're noticing through changes in lab values that their menopause happens potentially 1 to 4 years earlier. We notice this through labs like FSH, AMH, and it's not that you have to get these labs done. So again, to recap the benefits of hormone therapy, it can not only help with those disruptive symptoms, the hot flashes, night sweats, but also helps with someone's bone health, someone's cardiovascular disease prevention, someone's dementia prevention, prevention of the vulvovaginal changes. And so estrogen is good for all of those things. Even if somebody has a hysterectomy where you keep your ovaries, you can still get hormone replacement. You can still get hormone replacement to help with a lot of these issues. You just might need it a little bit sooner than if you didn't have the hysterectomy. The decision to proceed with hysterectomy shouldn't be taken lightly. That's why we discussed other options and discuss other things like IUD, ablation, medications to help with the bleeding, lifestyle changes to help with the bleeding, is because they can do changes to the body that can have significant impact. However, a lot of those symptoms, a lot of those downstream effects of low estrogen that we just talked about can be mitigated with hormone replacement patch or something like that, which we discussed in a previous video, but that would be like an estrogen patch that you would have to place either twice a week or once a week. So if somebody has their ovaries removed at the time of their hysterectomy, you definitely would benefit from hormones. And because over the next day or two, your body and the estrogen production is going to drop significantly. And so this will have drastic effects, even more than what I just talked about. You'll be in what we call surgical menopause from that moment on. And without the hormone replacement, will likely suffer from significant side effects such as hot flashes, night sweats, and put yourself at risk for those other things we talked about as far as osteoporosis, cardiovascular disease, dementia. Risks will increase. Now, there are situations where the benefit of decreasing the estrogen production, like if someone has an estrogen sensitive cancer, may outweigh that, but that's a decision you make with your doctor and to figure out the best, safest treatment for you. But there's more and more data showing that even in situations like breast cancer, even in situations like endometrial cancer, doing some hormone replacement to physiologic levels, that is potentially safe. And so again, discussion with your whole team if you're in that situation to come up with the best plan for you. Okay, scenario here. If someone's had a hysterectomy and they don't have their uterus anymore, the main reason to give somebody progesterone for hormone replacement was to protect the uterus. Now we're finding more and more it may have additional benefits, but your doctor may say to you, you would only need estrogen to get a majority of the symptoms improved, the hot flashes, night sweats, and that's true. And you can discuss whether or not you want to do progesterone therapy too. Okay, battery died in that camera. So how do we do the hormone replacement after somebody had a hysterectomy? Well, kind of the book answer is that after the hysterectomy, somebody really only needs estrogen to help with the hot flashes and night sweats, things like that. If someone is having difficulty sleeping, racing thoughts at night, I mean, it wouldn't be unreasonable to discuss, can you add a prometrium at night? And that could help with some of those symptoms. But traditionally, we often say you don't need it, the progesterone anymore. It could be an option. And then there's the testosterone option. We know that the ovaries do produce testosterone even beyond menopause. And so that is becoming more and more talked about, more of an option also, especially if someone had their ovaries removed. And the main indication for the testosterone would be often the low libido. But again, discussions, if you don't mind. You enjoyed the video, there's a little like button there, also subscribe button next to it. It makes us feel good, and hopefully put out another video next week. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below.